Hey, let's have a look at some parts from the Bradbury Group last night. Mr. Anderson there smelt sausage rolls. And
I
Chippy,
just saw
and
that coming.
Chippy turned up. That's a bit rude. It's a little bit rude. Let's just get into it, shall we? Talking to... Is it? I'm on the wrong page. That's why the numbers didn't work. Chippy talking to Bomber, and them both talking about the tough on crime rhetoric that National have. I don't know if I've got it in this, but Bomber did quite a long introduction to this where he talks about Labor. The truth is that Labor is tough on crime, but they also provide the off-ramps from crime to get out of it. So it was quite a nice kind of picture. Then through to Chippy about this idea of the rhetoric around being tough on crime.
The reality is tough on crime rhetoric is the easy part. Preventing crime from happening in the first place requires a lot more thought, a lot more action, and it's something that the current government, National Act, New Zealand First, don't seem to have any real answers to. There are answers there if they look for them. They choose to instead hide behind slogans rather than solutions.
Academic research shows us 80 to 90% of gang members were abused in state care. If we want less gang members, stop abusing kids in state care. What am I missing here, Chippy?
Well, we did some work when I was Minister of Police for that brief period of time around the kids who were involved in ram raids.
Right.
And we found that something like 90% of those kids had someone living in their household who had been in prison or who had otherwise been involved in the justice system. Now, that was the hardcore group of offenders. So I'm not saying that covered every kid who was getting hooked into that, but the kids who were at the core of it, it was a cycle that was repeating. When we put real effort around those families to break that cycle, 75% of those kids stopped reoffending.
Right.
There are answers there if the government look for what the evidence tells them rather than just going with slogans.
There you go. Chewie. Bang, bang.
That was pretty bloody good.
Yep.
That was pretty good. And look, this links back into what was saying yesterday. Don't engage National on their fucking you soft on crime thing. Just stand on your principles.
Yeah.
Stand on the knowledge that you have, the evidence that you have, and speak to your principles.
Yeah. Yep. No, very good. Let's do the next one, shall we? Because they also had a bit of a chat in general about the economy.
Let's move on to the economy. And National's plan after their slash and burn economic vandalism is to sell citizenships to 215 gold visa multi-millionaires, change the overseas investment rules to allow those new multi-millionaire citizens to buy residential property, and the Prime Minister just breached the independence of the Reserve Bank, all to inflate a speculative property bubble. Is that the best economic growth plan that National Act and New Zealand First can create? A speculative housing bubble? Has Nicola Willis taken our economy to market and sold it for 3 free market magic beans?
I can understand why New Zealanders are feeling really let down by this government. It's important for us all to remember they said they were going to fix the economy,
right?
That there was going to be nothing to it. They were just going to bring a more business-like approach to it, and everything was going to get better. The cost of living was going to be fixed. Jobs were going to somehow miraculously appear out of the sky. Everything was going to get better. And instead, New Zealanders' real experience has been that everything's gotten worse.
Right?
Again, strong messaging. You might wonder, you might say, it sounds like he's getting somewhat into election mode. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is what we need to like. I know when we had him on, and he sort of explained why we don't see mongrel Chippy very often, because he's talking to the middle and he's being the leader and that sort of thing. But it seems when he comes on a show like ours or a show like Bomber, we get closer to what we need to hear from him, and what I believe the public need to hear from him. Like, if he's going to spend all of his time talking to the wishy-washy middle, who are never going to be consistent Labour voters or really believe in what they're doing, I don't think that's how you win an election. I really don't.
Well, how you win an election could be by having 6 overhang seats. Now, there was one part of this conversation that I wondered why we didn't go down, but Bomber is about to talk to John Tamihiri about them working with Labour to generate this overhang. And if people aren't quite clear how that works, we'll explain it shortly.
if Labour and the Māori Party agreed to work together in the Māori electorates with a Māori Party electorate vote and a Labour Party party vote strategy, you could create a 6-seat overhang that would lock into place a Labour Māori Green government for a decade. For a decade. Why won't you openly engage Labour in this strategy? A decade.
Well, you're presuming that conversation hasn't been asked for and had.
What's going on? What's a haps?
Well, go and ask Arena and the Labour Party people. All I can say, I'll give you the documentation. Hang on.
Yep.
Straight after this,
Yep.
I'll give it to you, the documentation to you. You can load it.
But we're talking a decade, wouldn't it?
I'm not entirely sure what that means. Maybe he's saying the emails. I'll show you the emails and you can put it on your blog or something. Maybe we should check out the daily blog.
Seat overhang. If the
Yeah,
left used MMP
we know
the way
how to
the
count.
right does,
Yeah, we all know how to count.
right?
Look, National, even though it hated ACT from 96 to
They
2008.
cut them that deal every single election.
Kept giving them seats.
Didn't they?
Yeah, all the rest of it. So that's it. The Greens have to fight their corner against Labour. Māori Party has to. So that's how Labour plays the game. That's okay. Let's see where the dust settles.
But we're talking a decade. We could lock in a decade of Green Māori Labour government.
The day the treaty was signed, it was broken, and we were corralled, into the poorer parts of this country from the get-go. There's only one people that are going to break us out of that. Ain't going to be the Parkers and the Labour Party or the Parkers elsewhere.
So, how this works, just in case anyone doesn't know, is the reason that governments or politicians or political parties always go for your party vote is the party vote depends on how many MP seats you get, how many MPs you get. So if you got 50% of the vote, and that, remember what happens is all the parties that don't make the 5% threshold, those all get taken out. So let's say there's 90% of the vote left. So all of those, New Zealand Initiative, McKilligutty Seriously, they all get disappeared. And so you might have 90% of the vote left, which have voted for parties that have got more than 5% or who have gotten an MP. So therefore, if you get 45% of the overall vote, that's half of the valid vote. You get half of the number of MPs. Now, if half of the number of MPs is 60, which is about right, and you win 18 electorate seats, that means you have 18 electorate seats and 42 list MPs. If you win 40 electorate seats and you get half of the vote, then you get 40 electorate MPs and 20 list to make up the 60. So the percentage, the party vote is what decides how many MPs you get. Now, where it falls over is when you get a very small number of party votes, but you win electorates. So if the Māori Party won all 6 Māori seats, but got 0% of the vote, hypothetically, they would have 6 MPs and another party would pick up the percentage of the party vote of the seats. So that means the Māori Party, let's say they win all 6, they have 6 MPs, right? And that means the other party votes for the other parties will make up the 120 MPs, and there'll be 6 additional seats there. So it is literally a 6-seat overhang. That's how it works. And so what they're saying, I've never heard this before, which is why it's really interesting. What they're saying is, if you do a deal with Labour and everyone votes Te Pāti Māori for their electorate vote, the MP, but everyone votes Labour for their party vote, then Te Pāti Māori end up with 0% party vote, which they'd never do because not everyone's going to go along with this, but theoretically. And that means they're out of the 120 MPs made up from the party vote. So there's still 120 MPs to come, 6-seat overhang. Now, the thing I was going to say that I think they missed is, what about the Greens? Greens get 14%. You could do the same with the Greens. Like the Greens could pick up 6 extra seats. They could pick up the party votes from Te Pāti Māori. It doesn't have to be Labour is what I'm saying. And I'm interested as to why that didn't come up in that conversation. Like if the Greens in Te Pāti Māori, remember Debs and Marama high-fiving at the last debates? If the Greens in Te Pāti Māori did this, it would be the same result. There'd just be more Green MPs and more Te Pāti Māori MPs. So it's a really interesting thought. It does come back to this exact conversation that we just had with Nandor, and we've had lots of times before about how the right play this game of politics better and the left don't. This is viciously effective. It would require a lot. And what I also hear in John Tamahiri's answer is, they've fucked us over one too many times. Why do you think he didn't use these words, obviously, but why would we trust Labour by gifting them extra seats? The Labour is the reason Te Pāti Māori exists when they booted Tariana Turia. That's why they're the reason. So that's why I'm also saying, what about the Greens? The Greens could do it. Same result for the left. It's just a really interesting concept. It is probably the most devious, not in a bad way, way that I've heard to legally use the MMP system in New Zealand to benefit a party. It's fascinating. And no other party can do it because there isn't the equivalent that ACT could win 6 seats and no votes. It's the Māori seats, and it could work. And then of course you'd have a massive majority in government. You'd be able to do lots of things to bring lots of things around. That's it. That's it. And this is my picture. I think it's a really interesting thought.
Like, it is a really interesting thought. I think there has been too much of that of aid. Like, we've had MMP long enough to know how to vote tactically, and we almost never do. And I think it's exactly right that the right of Parliament knows how to play this game. And then on the left, everybody's on best behaviour, and, we're going to play this, for lack of a better term, above board. There are no backroom deals.
Take the high road. Take the high road.
People can vote for whoever, let the chips fall where they may. That's democracy. But yeah, when only one side is playing by the rules, it's
no. Everyone's playing by the rules. National's not breaking any rules. This is part of the point. That's why I'm saying these are the rules. People might think it's a little bit dirty politics or it's a little bit immoral or whatever. Fine, these are the rules. Like because we always use sporting analogies, me and Chewie. When you're playing cricket and you're batting and you nick the ball and you get caught by the keeper, you stand there until the umpire gives you out. Even if you have been caught, the rules are the umpire has to signal you out. You are playing by the rules to stand your ground and wait to be told you're out. These are the rules. You can play the rules. In fact, the smartest political people play the rules to the extent and to the very edge of that line that best helps them. And this is a really interesting... I don't think this will happen in a million years from Fridays, but it's a really interesting idea. It's a fascinatingly interesting idea.
No, it's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Anything to get this government out. Have those conversations, guys.
Well, that's the thing as well. And the reason Bomb is saying for a decade, it means at the minute, even like the left, the Labour got smashed last time. They were still within 4 or 5 or 6 seats.
Yeah.
So if you can deliver 6 extra seats to the left, they've got control of everything for a long time. I also just imagine though how would probably the Greens as well, but how would Te Pāti Māori and the Greens feel comfortable in trusting what Labour would do? And that's no shade. That's once again me just going, that's the political game. What would they need to see and or get to be, to basically be a minor party, a minor partner in a coalition that the reason there is a coalition is because of the decision they've made, So that would be an interesting conversation as well.